Kanhoji Angre or Conajee Angria or Sarkhel Angre was the first notable chief of the Maratha Navy in 18th-century India. He fought against the British, Dutch and Portuguese naval interests on the coasts of India during the 18th century. As a result, his European enemies labelled him a pirate. Despite the attempts of the British and Portuguese to subdue Angre, he remained undefeated until his death. Early life: born in the village of Angarwadi, 6 miles from Pune in the year of 1669, in a Sankapal family, his original name was Kad. They were guardians of small state named Varana Sank and therefore became known as Sankapal. His mother's name was Umbabai and his father, Tukaji, served at Swarnadurg for Shivaji with a command of 200 posts. Little is known about his early life except that he was involved in daring exploits at sea with his father. He spent much of his childhood in the Swarnadurg fort, where would later become governor. Naval career: he was originally appointed as Sarkhel or Darius Aranga by the chief of Satara in c. 1698. Under that authority, he was master of the western coast of India from Mumbai to Vinghoria in present-day state of Maharashtra, except for the property of the Muslim Siddhis of Maratha who were affiliated with the powerful Mughal Empire. Kanhoji started his long history of heroic feats by attacking merchant ships of the British East India Company and slowly gained respect from all the colonial powers. In 1702, he abducted a merchant vessel from Calicut with 6 English sailors and took it to his harbour. In 1707, he attacked the frigate, Bombay, which was blown up during fight. In time, the British feared as he could take any merchant ship except large European ships. When Maratha Chhatrapati Shahu ascended the leadership of the Maratha Empire, he appointed Balaji Visnath Bhatt as his Senakata and negotiated an agreement with Angre around 1707. This was partly to appease Angre, who supported the other ruler, Tarabay, who claimed the Maratha throne. As per agreement, Angre became head of the Maratha Navy. He also played a role in the Maratha conflicts against the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, who was campaigning in the Deccan. When the Maratha Empire was weak, Angre became more and more independent and in 1713, an army was sent headed by Peshwa Birupand to control Angre, but Angre won the battle and captured and held Birupand as his prisoner. Angre planned to march to Satara where Sahuji was acting as a head of state and where Angre was requested to appear for negotiations, after which Angre was confirmed as Admiral of entire fleet. Angre was also placed as chief of 26 forts and fortified places of Maharashtra. In 1720, Angre captured the vessel Charlotte along its owner, a merchant named Kurgenvan who had been bound to China from Surat. Kurgenvan would be imprisoned for 10 years. Europeans on rolls: Angre employed Europeans, generally Dutch, to command his best vessels. He also employed a Jamaican and a pirate named John Plantin and entrusted him significant responsibilities such as the chief gunner post. Angre employed Castro, who was considered as a traitor and punished by the Bombay Council for his failure in capturing Canary, which was controlled by Kanhoji Angre. Bases: in 1698, Angre located his first base at Vijayadurg, Devad Taluka, located about 485 km from Mumbai. The fort, which was originally built by Bijapur kings and strengthened by Maratha ruler Shivaji, is located on the coast and has an entrance hollowed out in it to accommodate entry of a vessel from the sea. Angre created an operating base from the fortified islands of Colaba at Alibaug, Kanduri and Unduri off the coast of Thal, Alibaug, and attempted to levy a tax on every merchant vessel entering the harbour. He established a township called Alibaug on seashore at southern tip of Mumbai. The main village at the time was today's Ramnath. Kanhoji even issued his own currency in the form of a silver coin called the Alibaigi rupiah. In 1724, Angre built a port at Puranagad, located in Raishnagiri district, Maharashtra. 7 guns and 70 cannonballs were found in the port. The port was also used for limited trading activities. He attacked English, Dutch and Portuguese ships which were moving to and from East Indies. Campaigns: Kanhoji intensified the attacks on colonial naval powers like Great Britain and Portugal on the western coast of India. On November 4, 1712, His navy even succeeded in capturing the armed yacht Algerine of the British President of Mumbai, William Isleby, killing the chief of their car war factory, Thomas Chown, and making his wife a prisoner, not releasing the captured yacht and the lady until February 13, 1713 for a ransom of 30,000 rupees. He seized East Indiaman, Somers and Grantham, near Goa as these vessels were on their voyage from England to Bombay. In 1712, he disabled 30-gun man-of-war which was conveying Portuguese armado, and captured it. Angre eventually signed a treaty with the East India Company President Isleby to stop harassing the company's fleet. Isleby would eventually return to England during October 1715. After the arrival of Charles Boone as the new governor of Mumbai on December 26, 1715, Boone made several attempts to capture Angre. Instead of succeeding, in 1718 Angre captured 3 ships belonging to the British, leaving them to claim that he a pirate. Angre blockaded the port of Mumbai and extracted a ransom of £8,750 from the East India Company. The British launched a fresh campaign in 1720, when shells from floating batteries burst in vain against the rocks of Vijaydurg Fort. The attempt to land inside the fort ended in disaster, and the British squadron soon retired to Mumbai. On November 29, 1721 a joint attempt by the Portuguese and the British to humble Kanhoji also failed miserably. This fleet consisted of 6,000 soldiers and no less than 4 of the Europeans' largest man-of-war class ships led by Commander Thomas Matthews. Aided by Maratha warriors including Dorji Bhatka and his navy, Angre continued to harass and plunder the European ships. Commander Matthews returned to Great Britain, but was accused and convicted of trading with the pirates in December 1723. Also, during 1723, Governor Boone returned to Great Britain. After Boone's departure, relative calm prevailed between the British and Angre, until Angre's death in 1756. Battles: 1702, seizes small vessel in Cochin with 6 Englishmen, 1706, attacks and defeats the city of Janjira, 1710, captures the Kenri Islands near Mumbai after fighting the British vessel Godolphin for 2 days. 1712, captured the yacht of the British President of Mumbai, Mr. Isleby, releasing it only after obtaining a hefty ransom of Rs 30,000, 1. 1713, 10 forts ceded to Angre by British, 1717, British ships bombard Kenri Island and Angre signs treaty with company paying Rs 60,000. 1718, blockaded Mumbai port and extracted ransom. 1720, British attack Vijaydurg, unsuccessfully. 1721, British and Portuguese jointly attack Alabar, but are defeated. 1723, Angre attacks 2 British vessels, Eagle and Hunter. Death. By the time of his death on July 4, 1729, Kanhoji Angre had emerged as a master of the Arabian Sea from Surat to South Konkan. He left behind 2 legitimate sons, Sarkhel and Sambhaji. 3 illegitimate sons, Talorji, Manajee, and Yashoji. Angre's Samadhi is situated at Alibag, Maharashtra. After Kanhoji, his son Sarkhel continued Maratha exploits at sea till his death in 1733. After Sarkhel's death, Angre's holdings were split between 2 brothers, Sambhaji and Manajee, because of divisions in the family. With the Marathas neglecting naval concerns, the British soon found it easier to defeat the remnants of the kingdom. In 1755 Angre's son, Talorji Angre, looted the Sri Anantheshwar temple of Gauda Saraswat Brahmins at Manjeshwar, Kerala. Angre and his son's reign over the western coast ended with the capture of Talorji in a joint British/Peshawar attack on the fort of Garia in February 1756. Legacy. Kanhoji Angre stands as one of the most notable admirals of the Maratha Navy who offered significant competition and damage to the prestige of the colonial powers. Historically, these same British and other European shipping powers who fought with Angre would later claim that he was nothing but a troublesome pirate or privateer. In so doing they deliberately and conveniently forgot that he had been appointed an admiral in the Maratha Navy by its legitimate leaders. This is a case of the ultimate victors being able to write the final history to slant things in their interest, ignoring any uncomfortable facts. Kanhoji is also credited with the foresight that a blue water navy's ultimate and strategic role is to keep the enemy engaged far from the shores of the homeland. At one time, Kanhoji was so successful that he attracted enterprising Europeans in his fleet as mercenaries, including making one Dutchman whom he appointed to the rank of Commodore. At the height of his power, Kanhoji commanded hundreds of warships and thousands of sailors while the British Navy had little in the way of naval resources in faraway India that could significantly offset the growing strength of the Maratha Navy. Kanhoji's harassment of British commercial interests and the Battle of Swali led them to establish a small naval force that eventually became the modern Indian Navy. Today, a statue of Angre proudly stands in Indian Naval Dockyard in Mumbai. While the original fort built by Angre that overlooked the naval docks has vanished, its boundary wall is still intact and within it lays the headquarters of Indian Western Naval Command and is called INS Angre. The end of Angre family influences, the descendants of Angres continued to hold Colaba till the 1840s and in 1843, it was annexed to British East India Company as per a dispatch to Governor-General of Bombay dated December 30, 1843. Publication of family history, Conajee Angre, a descendant of Kanhoji Angre and a contemporary Jijube of same family supported the publication of History of the Angres in 1939 at Alibag, Mumbai. Tributes. The Western Naval Command of the Indian Navy was named INS Angre on September 15, 1951 in honor of Kanhoji Angre. Other important naval offices are also located at INS Angre. His statue is erected at the Old Bombay Castle located within the enclave located at the Naval Dockyard, South Mumbai. During April 1999, the Indian Postal Service released a Rupee 3 stamp showing a Urub of Kanhoji Angre's fleet as depicted in a.c. 1700 AD painting. The Old Kenari Lighthouse, on Kandari Island which marks the southern boundary of the Mumbai port, was renamed as Kanhoji Angre Lighthouse. The huge residential colony of Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers at Alibag is named as Sarkhel Angre Nagar. During the Malwani Jatrotsav festival in 1995 at Parel, Mumbai, a simulation of the naval battle between Angre and the British fleet led by Charles Boone was conducted using remote-control wooden boats and an open tank. Radio-controlled boats carved out of teakwood and powered by high-torque motors were constructed by Vivek S. Kambli and Vishesh S. Kambli. A thrilling soundtrack complemented this audio-visual three-dimensional depiction of an important chapter from Maratha naval history. The show lasted 10 days and was witnessed by thousands of eager Mumbai citizens. An all-weather port at Ratnagiri, Maharashtra, named as Angre Port, was inaugurated on April 24, 2012 by ninth descendant of Kanhoji Angre. See also, Kunjali Maratha, Battle of Collateral, British India, references. Bibliography, Colonel John, Biddulph. The Pirates of Malabar and an Englishwoman in India. London, Smith, Elder and Company. ISBN A9781846377280. Retrieved December 13, 2012. Rajaram Narayan, Sail Tour. Indian Pirates, From the Earliest Times to the Present Day. Delhi, Concept Publishing Company. Retrieved December 13, 2012. Malgonka, Manohar the Seahawk, Life and Battles of Kanhoji Angre, Orient Paperbacks, c. 1984, Risso, Patricia. Cross-Cultural Perceptions of Piracy, Maritime Violence in the Western Indian Ocean and Persian Gulf Region During a Long 18th Century, Journal of World History, Volume 12, No. 2, Fall 2001, University of Hawaii Press, Ketka, Dr. D. Sarkhel Kanhoji Angre. Maratha Nama, Mrinmai Raj Vidi Prakashan, 1997.